yourself, which would you prefer, classroom learning versus online learning? Some of the things that you do have to think about when trying to decide is, what are your time management skills? If you do have good time management skills, online learning is definitely a way that you could go. If you're more of the type of person that has to be reminded or needs that face-to-face interaction, classroom learning would be more fitting for you. It all depends on how you prefer to learn, if you're more on your own or if you more prefer a face-to-face interaction with a teacher. Some of the highlights with classroom learning are things like direct access with the instructor. You won't ever have to wait or not know who the instructor is. You'll always have that face-to-face communication with them. Another main thing is you do also have hands-on activities and case studies. You'll be more involved with the information that is being taught rather than being at home trying to learn it yourself. It also offers a different kind of multi-sensory skills. Not only are you listening and seeing what's going on, you're also interacting with others in the classroom, which could lead to understanding the topic in a deeper sense. Online learning definitely has its benefits. Online learning is a lot more convenient than classroom learning. With classroom learning, you're expected to be at class on a specific day and time, while online learning is more for what works best for you. It also eliminates needs of having to have a car, having to have gas to put in your car so you can get to school, or even having a ride to get home. It also develops your technology skills because you obviously have to be pretty tech savvy to be able to work an online program. This also promotes more self-discipline. With online learning, you are promoted to work at your own pace. However, you're also still expected to get the job done, which in most cases, online learning is a lot more demanding than classroom learning. Classroom learning and online learning have their cons as well. With classroom learning, you are limited to your flexibility of what you can do within the day. Also, if you get sick, you can't really miss a day of school, or you miss a whole week's worth of learning. You have to learn at the pace that the teacher sets, even if that pace is too fast for you. It also limits the learning abilities of specific people. Some people may learn best audibly, some may learn best visually. Now, with online learning, it also, it limits the interaction the student has with either the teacher or fellow students. It also leaves a lot more room for miscommunications or misunderstandings. If a student doesn't have good time management skills, that also limits the ability for the student to complete the work in a timely manner or in the time that the teacher allows. So if that student has unhealthy study habits, then that also causes the issue of not passing the class. It also puts a lot of isolation on the student because they're not getting that hands-on learning that they would in a classroom setting. I think teaching adults on any scale, whether that be on a smaller professional scale or on a global scale, is always done easier by online. All adults do have lives, they all do have jobs, and in most cases adults do take classes while they have their home life, also their work life. It's always easier to handle both and juggle both when it's easier for them to do both by having, the online learning more accessible to them. This is why I do choose online learning. It is easier for me to juggle all my, my life responsibilities that I do have while still going to school. With adults, we all do have lives, and it does make it easier for us to juggle everything when we can work on our homework or listen to a lecture whenever it works best for us. What I would use as an adult template, whether it be online teaching or classroom teaching, is definitely visuals. Whether it be, online, I like to think, I've had a teacher where he has used YouTube videos. That YouTube video really allowed me to connect with the teacher, even though I never saw him in person. I knew who I was working with. I could put a face to the sound of his voice, or even to the emails that were sent. Even if it's not a classroom exercise or a classroom teaching that I'm doing, I always think that it's good to have a visual and, have a PowerPoint for someone to follow along with, not just stand up there and lecture the whole time. I have learned that visuals are the key to stimulating the brain to get it working on what you're trying to put across to it. Ultimately, when it comes down to adult learning, it all comes down to what's best for you. Are you the type of person that learns best in a classroom setting, or are you the type of person that prefers online learning due to your own personal schedule? Everybody's different. Some people like classroom learning, some like online learning. Me personally, I do have a full-time job and I don't live close to the school. So with me, online learning is what works best for me. What it comes down to is you need to do what's best for you, also what is going to be best for your education. Even if you like online learning due to the flexibility, if you don't have good time management skills, then obviously classroom learning is going to be what's better for you. It all comes down to your education and what you're willing to learn. What is best for you is what's best for you, doesn't mean what is best for other people. So do what's best for you.